Tonight, the art world remembering Colombian legend Fernando Botero, the painter and sculptor known for his round, voluptuous, and inflated forms, passing at 91 today after an iconic decades-long career.
Yo quiero pintar mejor que todo el mundo. Mi vida es pintar.
Born in Medellin, Colombia in 1932, Botero grew up as the son of a salesman and a seamstress, starting to paint at a young age. He used money earned through art contests to study art in Europe, eventually arriving in New York City in the 60s with just $200 in his pocket and a new outlook on the form.
These are voluptuous figures, male, female, animals, children, and he was so interested in the voluptuousness of them to celebrate, I think, to celebrate the voluptuousness of life.
In 1961, an art curator purchased his now infamous painting Mona Lisa, aged 12. The piece exhibited at the Museum of Modern Art in New York at the same time as the real Mona Lisa was displayed in the city's Metropolitan Museum of Art, catching the attention of the art world.
He really inserted himself in a way that made our art world in Manhattan a much more global and a much more exciting place.
His signature style became known as Boterismo, a style he even applied to his own self-portraits.
The moment he walks into his studio, somehow he seems 10 years younger because he's passionate about what he's doing.
Botero taking his larger-than-life figures to 3 dimensions, making sculptures that would become fixtures all around the world. Botero admires now mourning a cultural giant, his daughter Lina Botero, telling a Colombian radio station he died of complications from pneumonia. Colombian President Gustavo Petro paying tribute to the biggest artist in his country's history, saying in a statement, "The painter of our traditions and our defects, the painter of our virtues has died."
Everybody has to die. Botero will never die. He will be there in the art history of the world.
The legacy of an iconic artist living on in cities all around the globe. Guad, Venegas, NBC News.
Okay, Guad Venegas first. We thank Guad for that. I want to bring in Gary Nader. He's owner of the Gary Nader Art Center in Miami and one of the biggest Botero collectors in the world. Gary, thanks so much for joining us tonight here on Top Story. You're obviously a fan of Botero for a long time. How did you get today's news, and what was your reaction?
Very sad. You know, we were very good friends, very close. And as you said, you know, we have the largest and most important collection in the world of Botero that I mostly purchase directly from him. Unexpected because I exchanged emails with him last week, and he was perfect. He was completely lucid. He was fantastically affable, amicable, and perfect. And I'm extremely surprised. I'm extremely surprised this happened so suddenly.
You know, Gary, we see some of those Boteros,
because, you know,
we see some of the Botero paintings there behind you in a sculpture. What was it about his work that inspired you to start collecting his pieces?
Well, it's very simple. Botero was a great master, you know, was one of the greatest artists of the 20th and 21st century. And for me personally, it was a discovery the first time I saw one of his works in the MoMA. I was 15 years old, so I started studying his art. And one of the things that fascinated me the most was that, you know, when he was living in the 60s, by the way, in New York, the critics and collectors were telling him, listen, what you're doing is not fashionable now. What you're doing is not what people are looking for. You know, every great artist like yourself is doing abstract expressionism. And he said, no, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do my own art. I'm putting, showing my country. I'm doing what I like to do, and I'm not going to change. And look at that. He didn't change and became the most known artist in the world, because he's the most known artist in the world. I mean, Boterismo exists in every other in all the continents in the world.
Gary, what was it about his art?
What really fascinates me too.
Gary, what was it about his art that took off? Can you explain for people that aren't into art or art historians, why did his art suddenly take off?
Well, it didn't take off. It took a while, because you say take off, people might understand it was from day to night. He painted with the quality that he painted. He believed that he was doing was of quality, and he believed that his style was going to be absorbed, and he did. the greatest collectors and museums in the world, they start buying his art. And it took him a lot of years to become who he is today. But, you know, it's been accepted as one of the greatest, like I said before, one of the greatest artists in the world. And when you say the name Botero, you know, and you see a voluptuous or grand figure, not a fat figure, because he didn't like when people call his paintings, his objects fat. You see Botero, I mean, and that's unique. This is a man that everybody tried to convince him to change his style and his ways, and he stayed there and he did his works with amazing convincement and quality. And the critics, the museums, the collectors recognize it, and like every other major artist, start buying his works. And
Gary,
and the prices keep increasing, and the interest kept increasing until today.
Gary, you know, there's this movement in America and really across the world, this body positivity movement. It's been going on for the last decade. And years ago, decades ago, Botero started, as you mentioned, painting people that were voluptuous, that were larger than life, if you will. What was he trying to say with his paintings?
What he was trying to say was very simple, you know. Through his volume, he created more sensuality. Through volume, he created grandeur. Through volume, he created his own style. And people seem to like it and understand it, and that's why he became so popular and so much in demand. Volume was a way for him to show grandiose, to show more than anything sensuality, a great sensuality on his work, and sarcasm and history and criticism, you name it all. He absorbed what the world was telling him at that time, and he put it on his own words, and it was very much accepted.
Gary Nader, we appreciate you. I am sorry for your loss. I know you were friends with the artist, so we're thinking about you and his family tonight. And thank you for talking to us about the Botero art.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app, or follow us on social media.